Captain Alex Rivera sat in his command chair aboard the exploration ship New Horizon, watching the stars drift past through the main view screen. It had been a quiet week in this remote sector of space, just routine patrols and system surveys. His mixed crew of humans and aliens worked together smoothly, as they had for the past 3 years. The peace was broken when Communications Officer Maya Brooks turned from her station. "Captain, I'm picking up a distress signal from Kepler 442b. It's faint but definitely there." Alex frowned. Kepler 442b was a mining planet owned by the Zenthari Corporation. The insect-like Zenthari were efficient miners and their operations rarely had problems. "What kind of distress signal?" "It's not from the Zenthari," Maya said, her fingers flying over her controls. "The signal pattern is human, sir. Emergency frequency." The bridge fell silent. There weren't supposed to be any humans on Kepler 442b except for a few technical advisors. Alex looked at his crew. His security chief, Jake Morrison, was already checking his weapons. Dr. Lisa Chen, their chief medical officer, was pulling up planetary data on her tablet. "Set course for Kepler 442b, maximum speed," Alex ordered. "Jake, prep a security team. Lisa, get medical ready for possible casualties." The alien members of his crew reacted just as quickly. Veltar, the reptilian Saurian tactical officer, began running weapon diagnostics. Zoph, the plant-like Florian engineer, started optimizing the engines for speed. Yithra, the crystalline communications officer, opened channels to nearby Federation ships. 6 hours later, they dropped out of hyperspace near the dusty brown planet. The main Zenthari facility was a sprawling complex of metal buildings and mining towers on the surface. Everything looked normal from orbit. "I'm still getting the distress signal," Maya reported. "It's coming from underground beneath the main facility." Alex studied the scans on his screen. "There are tunnels down there, but they're not on any of the mining charts we have." Jake stepped forward. "Captain, I recommend we take a full security team down there. Something doesn't feel right about this." 20 minutes later, Alex led a team of 6 down to the planet's surface. The Zenthari facility manager, a large insect creature called Overseer Clickth, met them at the landing pad. His forearms moved in the typical Zenthari greeting gesture. "Captain Rivera," Clickth clicked in his translated voice. "What brings Federation patrol to our facility? We have reported no problems." "We received a human distress signal from underground," Alex said. "We need to investigate." Clicketh's compound eyes glittered. "Ah yes, the human work units. They are quite safe, I assure you. Come, I will show you. Work units." Alex exchanged glances with Jake. Humans weren't called work units. They were called crew members or workers or by their names. Never work units. Clicketh led them into the facility and down a cargo elevator. The underground levels were darker and more cramped than the surface buildings. The air smelled of metal and fear. "Here are the human storage areas," Clicketh said, stopping at a heavy metal door. He pressed his palm to a scanner and the door slid open. Alex stepped inside and stopped dead. The room was filled with metal cages, each barely large enough for a person to stand up in. Inside the cages were children. Human children, ranging from maybe 8 years old to 16. They were thin, dirty, and terrified. "What is this?" Alex demanded, his voice tight with anger. Dr. Lisa Chen pushed past him and immediately began examining the nearest child, a young girl who couldn't have been more than 10. "These children are malnourished," she said. "Some have injuries." "How long have they been here?" "The small human units have been here for several months," Clickth said matter-of-factly. "They are perfect for testing new mining equipment in narrow spaces. Adult humans are too large." Jake Morrison had his hand on his weapon. "You're using children as test subjects?" "Of course. Their families signed contracts. The human breeding pairs were compensated well for the temporary use of their offspring." Alex felt sick. Behind him, he heard a low growling sound. He turned to see Veltar, the normally calm Saurian officer, trembling with what could only be rage. The reptilian scales had darkened to almost black. Zoph, the Florian engineer, was releasing clouds of distress chemicals so strong that the air recycling system in Alex's suit kicked into high gear. Yithra, the crystalline being, was pulsing with angry red light. "We're taking these children immediately," Alex said. "Dr. Chen, start medical evaluations. Jake, secure this area." "You cannot remove corporate property without proper paperwork," Clickth protested. "These work units are under valid contracts, and these are children," Alex shouted. Not property, not work units, not test subjects. Children. Click tilted his insect head. I do not understand the distinction. Young humans, adult humans, they are all the same species. These are simply smaller and more useful for our purposes. Veltar suddenly stepped forward, and for a moment Alex thought the Saurian might attack the Zenthari. Instead, Veltar spoke in a voice so cold it could freeze space. You caged younglings. Yes, the work units are properly contained for safety, Click replied. Veltar turned to Alex. Captain, request permission to contact Saurian Command immediately. Granted, but why? Because, Veltar said, his voice getting even colder. What this creature has done is the greatest crime possible in Saurian law, and I suspect it is the same for most Federation species. Yithra was already transmitting on subspace frequencies, her crystalline form now pulsing with urgent patterns of light. Captain, I am broadcasting this situation to the Resonance Collective. They need to know immediately. Zoph's chemical emissions were getting stronger. The Florian Council must be informed. This violation of the young protection laws cannot stand. Alex looked around at his alien crew members. He had never seen them react like this to anything. Even during combat situations, they maintained their professional composure. But seeing these human children in cages had triggered something primal in all of them. All right, everyone contact your governments, Alex said. But our first priority is getting these children medical attention and off this planet. As Dr. Chen worked with the children, trying to calm them and assess their health, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something much bigger than a simple rescue operation was about to unfold. His alien crew members were behaving as if this was a matter of galactic importance. He was right. Within an hour, Maya reported that subspace communication channels were lighting up across the galaxy. Ships were changing course from hundreds of light years away, all heading toward their location. Captain, Maya said, her face pale as she read her instruments, I'm detecting massive fleet movements throughout Federation space. It looks like half the galaxy is heading our way. Alex stared at the screen showing dozens of approaching ships. What had they stumbled into? The New Horizons medical bay had never been so busy. Dr. Lisa Chen moved from bed to bed, treating the rescued children while her medical team ran tests and provided comfort. The youngest was a boy named Tommy, who couldn't have been more than 8 years old. The oldest was a girl named Rachel, maybe 16, who kept trying to take care of the younger ones even while receiving treatment herself. Captain Alex Rivera watched through the medical bay window as his crew worked. What disturbed him most wasn't just the children's physical condition, though that was bad enough. It was their behavior. They flinched when adults approached. They asked permission before speaking. They acted like prisoners who had given up hope. Captain, said Lieutenant Sam Parker, the ship's navigation officer, I've been interviewing the children about how they got here. You need to hear this. Alex followed Sam to a quiet corner of the medical bay where Rachel sat on a bed, finally clean and wearing fresh clothes. Her eyes were older than her 16 years. Tell the captain what you told me, Sam said gently. Rachel looked up at Alex. I was told I was selected for a special engineering program. My parents were so proud. They said it would give me opportunities we could never afford on our colony world. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly. When we got here, they told us the program was in the mines, that we had to test equipment because we were small enough to fit in spaces adults couldn't. How long have you been here? Alex asked. 7 months. At first they said it was temporary training. Then they said our families had extended our contracts. Then they stopped talking about when we could go home. Alex felt anger burning in his chest. What about the others? Similar stories. Billy thought he was going to a sports academy. Sarah was told it was a science camp. The Zenthari had recruiters on dozens of human colonies, offering opportunities that seemed too good to be true. Rachel's voice turned bitter. Turns out they were. Sam pulled Alex aside. Captain, I've checked the contracts the Zenthari showed us. They're fake. The signatures don't match colony records, and some of the children's families have been searching for them for months. Before Alex could respond, Communications Officer Maya Brooks called from the bridge. Captain, you need to get up here right now. We're receiving priority communications from everywhere. Alex hurried to the bridge to find it buzzing with activity. Every communication station was active, and the main screen showed a tactical display of the local space that made his blood run cold. There were over 200 ships approaching their position, representing dozens of different species. Report, Alex ordered. Maya turned from her station, her face pale. Sir, we're receiving direct communications from government leaders across the Federation. The Saurian Empire has declared this a code black situation. The Aquatic Federation is mobilizing their entire Third Fleet. The Florian Collective is sending their council, guard. Species that haven't talked to each other in decades are coordinating a joint response. A joint response to what? Alex asked. We rescued some children from illegal mining operations. It's terrible, but why is the entire galaxy reacting like this? Veltar, the Saurian tactical officer, turned from his station. His normally composed demeanor was completely gone, replaced by something Alex had never seen before. Captain, may I explain? Please do. In Saurian culture, harming the young of any species is the ultimate crime. It triggers what you might call a biological imperative in us. We cannot ignore it. We cannot compromise on it. When younglings are threatened, every Saurian becomes their protector. Zof, the Florian engineer, added in his translated plant speech, for Florians, young creatures emit chemical signals that connect directly to our root networks. Their pain becomes our pain. Their fear becomes our fear. What was done to these human younglings, we feel as if it was done to our own offspring. Yithra, the crystalline communications officer, pulsed with soft blue light. The Resonance Collective shares memories across our entire species. Every member of our civilization now carries the terror those children felt. It is unbearable. Alex stared at his alien crew members. Are you telling me that most Federation species have some kind of built-in protective instinct for children? Not just their own children, but all children. Not most species, Veltar corrected. Nearly all species. It is why the Federation exists, Captain. Species that protect younglings together survive together. Then why didn't anyone tell humanity about this? Yithra's light dimmed. Because it is so fundamental to most civilizations that we assumed you knew. We assumed all species shared this instinct. Maya called out from her station. Captain, Admiral Vosik of the Saurian Empire is requesting immediate communication. The main screen flickered and showed the stern face of a large Saurian with silver scales and ancient eyes. Admiral Vosik had been a legend in Federation space for over a century, known for his strategic brilliance and unshakable calm. He did not look calm now. Captain Rivera, the Admiral said, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority, confirm the reports we have received. The Zenthari held human younglings in containment for forced labor. Confirmed, Admiral. We have 37 children aboard, ages 8 to 16. They were used to test mining equipment in dangerous conditions. Admiral Vosik's scales darkened visibly. Captain, you have uncovered a violation so severe that there is no precedent in Federation law. The Zenthari have committed an act that every civilized species considers worse than genocide. Worse than genocide? Genocide destroys the present. Harming younglings destroys the future. There is no crime more serious in the galaxy. Another communication signal came through and the screen split to show a second figure. This one was Counselor Depths of Wisdom, the ancient leader of the Aquatic Federation, whose species was known for their peaceful nature and philosophical approach to conflict. Captain Rivera, the aquatic being said through its translator, my species has not mobilized for war in 3 centuries. Today we launch every ship we have. A third signal joined the conversation. This one was just a shimmering energy pattern that spoke in harmonics. Human Captain, it said, we are the Void Walkers. We have not taken physical form in your galaxy for 1,000 of your years. Today we manifest to ensure justice for the harmed younglings. Alex felt the weight of galactic history pressing down on him. What exactly are you planning to do? Admiral Vosik answered for all of them. The Zenthari species will answer for this crime. Every facility like the one you discovered will be found and shut down. Every individual responsible will face justice. And the Zenthari will learn why harming younglings is the one law that binds all civilized species together. The communications ended, leaving Alex staring at a dark screen. Around him his bridge crew worked quietly, but he could feel the tension in the air. Captain, Maya said softly, I'm detecting more ships arriving every hour. The computer estimates that by tomorrow, we'll have the largest multi-species fleet in recorded history gathered in this system. Alex looked around his bridge at the faces of his mixed crew. For 3 years he had thought he understood the dynamics of Federation species. He had thought humanity was finding its place as the newest members of an ancient alliance. Now he was beginning to realize that humanity's place in the galaxy might be very different from what he had believed. And the Xanthari were about to learn why that mattered. Captain Alex Rivera stood in the New Horizons main conference room, staring at a holographic display that showed the space around Kepler 442b. What he saw defied belief. Over 800 ships from 43 different species had arrived in the past 18 hours. Some were warships, some were medical vessels, and some were species he had never seen before. "Captain," said Lieutenant Commander Ben Taylor, the ship's cultural liaison, "I've been researching Federation laws and customs all night. What I found? It changes everything we thought we knew about humanity's place in the galaxy." Dr. Lisa Chen looked up from her medical reports. "Before Ben explains, you need to know about the children's medical scans. I found something unusual in their blood chemistry." "What kind of unusual?" Alex asked. "When human children are frightened or stressed, they release specific chemical signals, pheromones and bioelectric fields that are stronger than in adults. I ran comparative tests with our alien crew members." Lisa paused, checking her data. "Captain, these signals trigger protective responses in nearly every Federation species. Not just emotional responses, biological ones." Ben stepped forward with his research tablet. "That explains what I found in the historical records. Captain, when humanity first made contact with the Federation, we were accepted faster than any species in recorded history. Most new species spend decades in observation and testing before being granted membership. Humanity was accepted in less than 5 years. I remember learning that in Academy," Alex said. "Command said it was because of our technical skills and adaptability." "That's what we were told," Ben continued. "But it's not the whole truth. I found classified cultural assessment reports in the Federation archives. Every major species that evaluated humanity mentioned the same thing, an overwhelming urge to protect human offspring." Veltar, the Saurian tactical officer, entered the conference room. His usually professional demeanor was still strained. "Captain, I have received new orders from Saurian High Command. I am to share information that has been classified for over a century." "Go ahead," Alex said. "When the Saurian Empire first encountered humans, our initial contact team included military observers, diplomats, and scientists. The humans they met were colonists with families, children." Veltar's voice took on a strange tone. "Every Saurian on that contact team reported the same thing. Seeing human younglings triggered their protective instinct so strongly that they could barely function." Dr. Chen leaned forward. "That matches what I'm seeing in the medical data. Human children emit signals that are somehow more potent than the young of other species. The reports I found confirm this," Ben added. "The Aquatic Federation's first contact team actually had to be rotated out because they became so focused on protecting the human children they met that they couldn't complete their diplomatic mission." Alex felt a strange sensation in his stomach. "Are you telling me that humanity was accepted into the Federation not because of our abilities, but because other species felt compelled to protect our children?" "Not just protect," Veltar corrected. "Adopt. In Saurian culture, when you feel the protection urge that strongly, the younglings become part of your clan. Officially, humanity is considered an adopted species by the Saurian Empire." Yithra entered the room, her crystalline form pulsing with urgent patterns. "Captain, the Resonance Collective has shared the full memory record of this incident across our species. The response is unprecedented. Every crystalline ship in the galaxy is moving to this location." "How many ships is that?" Alex asked. "Approximately 1,500. We are a peaceful species, Captain. We do not have warships, but we are converting cargo vessels, research ships, even civilian transports into combat vessels. The collective mind has decided that nothing matters more than justice for these human younglings." Communications Officer Maya Brooks called from the bridge. "Captain, Overseer Clicketh is requesting to speak with you. He says he has additional information about the mining operation." "Put him through," Alex ordered. The holographic display shifted to show the insectoid Xanthari in what appeared to be a secure bunker deep underground. His compound eyes darted nervously as he spoke. "Captain Rivera, I believe there has been a misunderstanding. The human work units were treated according to standard Xanthari labor protocols. We provided food, shelter, and work assignments appropriate to their size and capabilities." "You put children in cages," Alex said coldly. "Containment units for safety," Clicketh corrected. "The small humans were valuable assets. We protected our investment." Dr. Chen stepped into view of the communication. "Those children showed signs of malnutrition, sleep deprivation, and psychological trauma. That's not protection, that's abuse. Clicketh's antennae twitched in what might have been confusion. I do not understand. The human breeding pair signed legal contracts transferring custody of their offspring to Zenthari Corporation for specified periods. All procedures were followed correctly. Those contracts were forgeries, Alex said. We verified it. Perhaps some documentation errors occurred, Clicketh admitted, but the principle remains valid. Young humans are simply smaller versions of adult humans. They require less food, less space, and can access areas adults cannot. This makes them ideal for certain types of work. Lieutenant Commander Taylor stepped forward. Do the Zenthari have children? Young of their own species? Of course. Zenthari larvae are produced in breeding cycles and assigned to work details when they reach productive size. And these larvae, Taylor continued, are they treated the same way you treated the human children? Naturally. Work units are work units, regardless of age or species. Alex watched as the alien members of his crew reacted to this statement. Veltar's scales turned almost black. Zoff began emitting distress chemicals so strong that the air recyclers kicked into emergency mode. Ythra's crystalline form flashed angry red patterns. Clicketh, Alex said carefully. I need you to understand something. Almost every species in the Federation has powerful instincts to protect children. All children, not just their own. What you did to those human kids is considered the worst possible crime by nearly every civilization in the galaxy. This is illogical, Clicketh replied. Young creatures are simply undeveloped adults. They exist to serve the species until they reach full productivity. How is this different from any other labor arrangement? Maya's voice came over the comm. Captain Admiral Vosik is requesting immediate communication. He says it's urgent. Transfer it here, Alex ordered. Admiral Vosik appeared on the display, and for the first time since Alex had known of him, the ancient Saurian looked truly angry. Captain, we have intercepted the Zenthari's communication. Every word of his justification has been broadcast across Federation space. What does that mean? Alex asked. It means, Admiral Vosik said grimly, that every species in the Federation now knows that the Zenthari see younglings as nothing more than small workers. They have just declared themselves the enemy of every parent in the galaxy. The communication ended, leaving the conference room in stunned silence. Alex looked around at his crew, finally beginning to understand the magnitude of what they had discovered. Captain, Maya called from the bridge, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. It looks like every alien ship out there is powering weapon systems. Alex closed his eyes. They weren't just dealing with a crime anymore. They were witnessing the beginning of something that would reshape the entire galaxy. The space around Kepler 442b had become the largest gathering of military vessels in galactic history. Captain Alex Rivera stood on his bridge, watching the tactical display with growing amazement and fear. Ships that had been enemies for centuries were now working together with perfect coordination. Captain, Communications Officer Maya Brooks reported, I'm tracking over 3,000 ships now. The Saurian Empire's entire First Fleet is here. The Aquatic Federation sent their Council Guard, ships they haven't used in combat for 300 years. Even the energy beings called Voidwalkers have manifested physical forms. What about the Zenthari response? Alex asked. Zenthari Corporation has called in every security vessel they have. Maybe 200 ships total. But Captain, Maya paused, checking her readings again. Their own government isn't supporting them. The Zenthari Homeworld Defense Force is maintaining position around their system, but hasn't moved to help the corporation. Lieutenant Commander Ben Taylor looked up from his cultural analysis station. Captain, I've been monitoring Zenthari communications. Their government is trying to distance itself from the corporation. They're claiming this was unauthorized action by a rogue business entity. Dr. Lisa Chen entered the bridge, looking exhausted after 18 hours of treating the rescued children. Captain, the kids are stable, but they're asking questions I don't know how to answer. They want to know if they can go home. They want to know if their parents really sold them. They want to know why aliens are fighting over them. Alex felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. What do we tell them? The truth, said a new voice. They turned to see Major Kate Sullivan materializing on the bridge in a transporter beam. The Human Federation liaison officer looked grim as she stepped out of the beam. Captain Rivera, I've been sent by Federation Command to brief you on the situation. Major Sullivan, Alex said. I wasn't expecting Federation involvement. Neither was anyone else, Kate replied. Captain, what you've discovered here has triggered the largest military response in Federation history, and it's all centered around protecting human children. She activated a portable holographic projector, showing a map of the galaxy with thousands of moving points of light. Every major species in the Federation is mobilizing. The Saurians have declared a blood oath of protection over humanity's young. The Aquatic Federation has invoked their ancient laws of sacred youth. The Florian Collective is releasing war pheromones for the first time in recorded history. Why? Alex asked. I understand that they want to protect children, but this seems extreme. Kate's expression was serious. Captain, there's something about humanity that wasn't in your academy training. Something that's been classified for over a century. She paused, gathering her thoughts. Human children trigger protective instincts in other species more strongly than their own young do. Dr. Chen stepped forward. I found evidence of that in my medical scans. But why? We don't know, Kate admitted. Evolutionary biologists think it might be because humans developed as a prey species that survived by appealing to the protective instincts of other creatures. When we entered galactic civilization, that same trait made other species want to adopt and protect us. Adopt us? Alex repeated. Officially, humanity is considered the protected offspring of 17 different Federation species. You thought we joined the Federation as equals. The truth is we were adopted as children. Before Alex could respond, alarms started sounding throughout the ship. Maya turned from her communication station with wide eyes. Captain, Admiral Vosik is broadcasting on all channels. He's addressing the Zinthari directly. The main screen lit up with the image of Admiral Vosik standing on the bridge of his massive flagship. Behind him, Alex could see dozens of other ships through the viewports. When the ancient Saurian spoke, his voice carried the authority of eons, Zinthari Corporation and all associated entities. Admiral Vosik began, You have committed crimes against younglings under the protection of the Galactic Federation. You will surrender all individuals responsible for these actions. You will provide locations of all similar facilities. You will compensate the harmed younglings and their families. You have 1 hour to comply. The communication switched to show Overseer Clicketh in his underground bunker. The Zinthari's compound eyes darted nervously as he responded. This is an internal corporate matter. The Federation has no authority over legitimate business operations. The human work units were acquired through legal contracts. Admiral Vosik's scales darkened visibly. You continue to refer to younglings as work units. This confirms that your species lacks the fundamental instincts that define civilization. Your hour begins now. The communication ended and Alex turned to Major Sullivan. What happens if they don't surrender? Then you'll witness something that hasn't happened in galactic history, she replied. The complete military response of every nurturing species in the Federation. As if summoned by her words, new contacts appeared on the tactical display. Jake Morrison, the security chief, called out from his station. Captain, I'm detecting massive hyperspace signatures. Something big is coming. The space around them filled with light as hundreds of new ships dropped out of hyperspace. These weren't the sleek military vessels they had seen before. These were massive ancient ships with designs that seemed to predate the Federation itself. Those are ancestor ships, Major Sullivan whispered. I've only seen them in historical records. Some of those vessels are over 1,000 years old. Maya checked her communications. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the lead ship. They're identifying themselves as the Council of Elders, representatives from every species that has ever lost young to violence. The main screen activated again, showing a chamber filled with beings from dozens of different species. Some Alex recognized, others were completely alien to him. At the center sat an ancient creature that seemed to be made of living crystal and starlight. Young human captain. The being spoke in harmonics that bypassed language entirely. We are the eldest of the elder races. We have come because what the Zinthari have done awakens memories of ancient sorrows. Too many species have lost their young to those who see them as resources, rather than the future itself. Alex found his voice. What can we do to help? You have already done what was needed. You found the caged younglings. You called for help. You showed the galaxy that humans, despite being young as a species, share the sacred duty to protect the innocent. The ancient being's form shifted, becoming brighter. The Zinthari will learn why harming younglings is the one crime that unites all life against the perpetrator. And humanity will learn why you have never truly been alone in this galaxy. Another alarm sounded and Jake called out, "Captain, the Xanthari ships are powering weapons. They're moving to attack positions." Admiral Vosik's voice came over all channels. "All vessels, the Xanthari have chosen combat over surrender. Protect the human younglings at all costs. Show them why civilized species stand together." Alex watched as the largest space battle in galactic history began around his ship. But he noticed something strange. The alien ships weren't just fighting the Xanthari. They were arranging themselves in protective formations around the new horizon, ensuring that the rescued children remained safe no matter what happened. Major Sullivan placed a hand on his shoulder. "Captain, you're witnessing the moment when humanity learned it was never the junior species in the Federation. You were always the children everyone was determined to protect." As explosions lit up space around them, Alex realized that everything he thought he knew about humanity's place in the galaxy had been wrong. They weren't struggling to find acceptance among the stars. They were the reason the stars had come together in the first place. The battle was over in 6 hours. Captain Alex Rivera had expected a long, brutal fight between thousands of ships, but what he witnessed was something entirely different. The Xanthari Corporation's fleet was simply overwhelmed by the sheer number and coordination of the Allied forces. Most Xanthari ships surrendered when they realized they were facing the entire galaxy. "Captain," Communications Officer Maya Brooks reported, "Admiral Vosik is requesting your presence aboard his flagship for the War Crimes Tribunal." Alex looked around his bridge. The rescued human children were safe in the medical bay, being cared for by medical teams from a dozen different species. His crew had performed admirably during the crisis, and now it was time to see justice done. "Jake, you have the bridge," Alex said to his security chief. "Maya, Ben, Lisa, you're with me." An hour later, Alex found himself in the main conference hall of Admiral Vosik's flagship, surrounded by representatives from every major Federation species. The ancient Saurian gestured for the humans to take seats near the front of the chamber. "Captain Rivera," Admiral Vosik said, "your species has been part of the Federation for over a century, but today you learn the full truth of that membership." A holographic display activated, showing official Federation documents that Alex had never seen before. When humanity first made contact with Federation scouts, every species that encountered your people reported the same phenomenon: an immediate, overwhelming urge to protect human offspring. Your children triggered biological and cultural protective instincts that were stronger than most species felt for their own young. Dr. Lisa Chen leaned forward. "The medical scans I took confirm this. Human children emit chemical and bioelectric signals that activate nurturing responses across multiple species types, which led to an unprecedented decision," continued Admiral Vosik. "Rather than the standard decades-long evaluation process, the Federation Council voted unanimously to grant humanity immediate protection status. Not membership, protection. What's the difference?" Alex asked. General Patricia Hayes, Earth's Federation representative, materialized via hologram. "Alex, I've been getting briefings from Earth Command all day. The difference is everything we thought we knew about our role in the galaxy." She activated another display showing human colonies throughout Federation space. Every human settlement has had hidden alien protection fleets nearby for decades. The mining rights we received, the trade agreements, the mysterious absence of pirate attacks on human territories, all of it was the result of the galaxy treating us as their collective children. Lieutenant Commander Ben Taylor pulled up his research files. "Captain, I found records of over 300 incidents where human children were threatened or endangered. In every case, alien forces responded immediately and decisively. Most of the time, humans never even knew the threats existed. We've been living under galactic protection our entire time in the Federation," Alex realized, "and we never knew it. Because it was so natural to the other species that they never thought to explain it," Admiral Vosik said. "Just as you do not explain to your children why you protect them from danger." At that moment, the chamber doors opened, and a group of figures entered under heavy guard. Overseer Clicketh and 7 other Xanthari executives walked to the center of the chamber, their compound eyes darting nervously at the assembled representatives. "The accused will state their names and positions for the record," Admiral Vosik commanded. Clicketh spoke first. "Overseer Clicketh, Operations Manager, Xanthari Corporation Mining Division 7. The others followed with similar titles. Corporate executives who had treated human children as expendable resources. You are charged with crimes against younglings under Federation protection, Admiral Vosik continued. How do you answer? We followed standard corporate labor protocols, Click replied. The human work units were acquired through legal agreements and utilized according to their capabilities. A low growl filled the chamber as every alien representative reacted to, hearing the children called work units again. Counselor Depths of Wisdom, the ancient leader of the Aquatic Federation, rose from his environmental tank. The accused continues to demonstrate complete lack of understanding regarding the sanctity of young life. This confirms the charges. What is our sentence? One of the others in Thari asked. Admiral Vosik looked around the chamber. The council has decided on a punishment that fits your crime. You will be assigned to work in Federation youth rehabilitation centers, caring for the young of various species, until you develop the empathy your species apparently lacks. You will learn to see children as the precious future they are, not as resources to be exploited. Click's antennae twitched in what might have been horror. You want us to care for younglings for the rest of your natural lives, confirmed the ancient crystal being Alex had seen before. You will feed them, protect them, comfort them when they are afraid and ensure their happiness and safety. Perhaps then you will understand what you have done. As the Zenthari were led away, Admiral Vosik turned back to Alex. Captain, there is one more matter to address. The children you rescued, what about them? They have been offered homes with families from any species they choose. Several Saurian clans have already volunteered to adopt them. The Florian Collective has offered to create special garden worlds for their recovery. The Aquatic Federation has prepared educational programs that would give them opportunities beyond anything they could have imagined. Dr. Chen looked surprised. They have that many options? Captain, General Hayes said via hologram. Every rescued child has received over 1,000 adoption offers from alien families across the galaxy. They're not just being helped, they're being celebrated as heroes. Alex shook his head in amazement. And their real families? The ones they were taken from? Are being contacted as we speak, Major Kate Sullivan said, entering the chamber. But Captain, some of these children have been gone so long, and their experiences have been so traumatic, that returning to their original homes might not be the best option for all of them. What are you saying? I'm saying that some of them might choose to stay with alien families who can provide them with the specialized care and opportunities they need to heal. And that's okay, because they'll still be part of the human family, just a much larger family than we ever imagined. Admiral Vosik nodded approvingly. Captain Rivera, your species has learned today that you are not alone in the galaxy. You never were. Every human child is precious to us not because of treaties or agreements, but because our deepest instincts compel us to protect them. As the tribunal ended and the representatives began to disperse, Alex found himself standing with his crew on the observation deck of the flagship, looking out at the thousands of ships that had come to rescue 37 human children. Captain, Maya said quietly, do you think this changes everything for humanity? Alex watched as ships from dozens of species began departing, many carrying messages of support and friendship for Earth. I think it explains everything. Maya, we always wondered why we were accepted so quickly into the Federation, why we got the best territories, why other species seemed so willing to help us. Dr. Chen smiled as she watched a group of Saurian medical ships heading toward Earth with supplies for human children's hospitals. We thought we were the new kids trying to fit in. Turns out we were the kids everyone wanted to adopt. Lieutenant Commander Taylor pulled up a final report on his tablet. Captain, preliminary investigations have found 17 other facilities like the one on Kepler 442b. All of them are being shut down. The galaxy-wide response has sent a message that harming children of any species will bring swift and overwhelming justice. As the New Horizon prepared to depart for Earth, Alex received one final communication from Admiral Vosik. Captain, please convey a message to your people. Tell them that they are not just members of the Federation. They are the children the Federation exists to protect. And tell them that no matter how far they travel among the stars, they will never be alone. Alex looked at his mixed crew of humans and aliens working together on the bridge, at the rescued children sleeping safely in the medical bay, and at the vast galaxy stretching out before them. For the first time since joining Starfleet, he truly understood humanity's place in the cosmos. They weren't conquerors or explorers or even equals among the stars. They were the galaxy's children, loved and protected by species older and wiser than they could imagine. And that was the greatest strength of all. As the New Horizon jumped to hyperspace, heading home to Earth with its precious cargo of rescued children and newfound understanding, Alex realized that the most human thing of all was their ability to inspire others to protect them. It was a power that would reshape the galaxy for generations to come.